The Cowherd and the Weaving Maid. "Throw the robes over here, and I will think about it," said the maiden from behind the bush. The boy threw the robes. "Now will you marry me?" he demanded. "I will let you know," she replied. Her sisters gasped and giggled. "Don't miss your chance," said the eldest. "I bet a good-looking lad like him has plenty of offers. It's not every day that a maiden of the skies gets a proposal. Think about it. How often does a man want to marry a cloud?" And so the maiden, now fully clothed in her red robes, stepped out from the bush. She held out her lovely hand. The boy knelt and kissed it. She agreed to be his wife. Her sisters flew away to the skies, where they continued as usual to flit across the heavens in the form of fluffy clouds. By contrast, the lovely seventh maiden lived on earth with the cowherd. She took the shape of a most beautiful woman. From that day on, the boy's fortunes prospered. The farmer adopted him as his son and gave him a wedding gift of land and livestock. His mean brother and sister-in-law could only look on enviously at his prosperity. The cowherd lived happily with his heavenly wife, and 3 years later they had twins, a beautiful boy and girl. The only sadness in their lives was that the dear old ox had passed away. They had comfort in that they could look up at the sky and see him twinkling in the constellation of the ox. Up in the heavens, the passing of 3 years is like 3 days to the gods. The Heavenly Mother began to notice that the dawn and the evening clouds had lost their rosy tint. She realized that the seventh weaving maid, she of the red robes, had gone missing. She scanned the earth with all her seeing eye and spotted the happy couple living in a humble hovel. "That is not fit for a divine maiden," she shouted, and the whole sky was filled with a terrible thunderstorm. Mad with fury, she sent her heavenly soldiers to the farmhouse. They delivered the queen's message to her daughter. She must return to the skies or face the destruction of her family and children. With great sadness, she had no choice. She must go back to heaven. The soldiers escorted her, leaving her wailing children and husband behind. For the first time since the night at the river, the cowherd was in despair and did not know what to do. He looked up into the heavens and saw the twinkling star of his friend the ox. Then he remembered that when the mortal form of the ox had died, he had kept his hide. He took the ox skin down from the wall and spread it out on the floor like a carpet. When he sat down on it, the hide began to fly, and it lifted him up to the heavens and swept him away to the palace of the Jade Emperor, who rules all heaven and earth. There he found himself in front of the throne of the Heavenly Mother. The cowherd fell down on his knees and prayed. "O Queen of Heaven, I have come to claim my wife. I married her lawfully, and she must live with me as long as she loves me, and I love her." But the queen flew into a fury. How dare you, a mere mortal, a cowherd to boot, marry my daughter through trickery, and then follow us up to heaven and make your insolent demand? The boy trembled, thinking that his last moment had come. The queen reached up to her headdress and pulled out a silver hairpin. She cast it across the heavens. It scattered silver across the skies, spreading stardust in its wake. In the West, we know the result as the Milky Way. In China, they call it the Silver River. And now the cowherd and the seventh weaving maid stand on either side of the river and gaze all year long at each other. But on their anniversary, the festival of the 7th, even the hard heart of the Queen of Heaven relents. A magical bridge appears across the Silver River, and for one day and night the cowherd and his heavenly wife can meet and embrace.
Chance. Chance. Proposal. Proposal. By contrast. By contrast. Enviously. Enviously. Twin. Twin. Twinkle. Twinkle. Soldier. Soldier. Destruction. Destruction. Throne. Throne. Tremble. Tremble.
Nếu thấy hay và hữu ích, các bạn hãy like, share và comment ủng hộ ở bên dưới nhé. Để theo dõi nhiều bài học bổ ích khác, các bạn hãy subscribe kênh YouTube của Topica nhé.